Welcome to our channel. If you're new here, we're Matt and Shelby. We've been traveling for a while, so check out our other videos. This week, we're taking you with us to the Croatian island of Lokrum. Check out this strange and beautiful island with us.
So here's the deal. I really love everything that's associated with water and the ocean, and today we get to go on a boat. That smells so good.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Who is making
Who's making that food? We are going to the little island of Lokrum. Not sure which one it is, but it's right next to
Lokrum? I don't know.
Downtown Old City Dubrovnik.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a picture of the old city, you can see Lokrum right in the background. So
yeah.
There's a bunch of Croatian islands, and we're going to try to see as many as we can. But
we're
today,
starting
the
out
first one is Lokrum.
So I think one of the only things I know about Lokrum that Shelby has told me is that Richard the Lionheart was shipwrecked there. It'll be interesting to learn more about that. I think there's a monastery, there's a couple beaches, a couple restaurants. Before we get on the ferry, we have to stop and get some food and coffee. For the last couple weeks, we've been going to this local coffee shop and we just bring our pastries. And so that's where we're off to today before we head over to the island. Got some burek.
Classic potato burek.
And then we got ourselves a chocolate croissant.
No, remember we changed it. We got that vanilla.
That's right.
Sorry. We got this vanilla cream filled pastry.
Quite tasty.
Before you board the ferry, you just buy your tickets at the Lokrum counter in the harbor. It's super easy.
You excited to go on the boat?
Yeah. At least it's not very far. It's like 10 minutes.
We are consulting the map before we go on our adventure. We're at number 1. We're going to go all the way down to 17. The first thing we're doing is basically circumnavigating the island just so we can see all the different things that are around here.
There's pretty easy paths to get everywhere, and there's not like a main city. It's really just an island with little ruins and things on it seems. So
yeah.
Right now we're going to a big cross ruin. It's called the Cross of Triton.
Kind of overlooks the old city, I think. Of
Yeah, because we
Dubrovnik.
can see it from the old city. You can see the cross. So.
Yeah. So far this is such a peaceful island.
The Triton, an Austrian warship anchored in front of Lokrum. That's interesting. So it was made in memory of Austrians. Only 10 crew members survived the accident. The surviving sailor, who had been punished and shackled prior to the explosion and was later believed to be the culprit, became the talk of the neighboring towns and villages. Be that as it may, the Triton incident brought the emperor's brother, Archduke Maximilian of Habsburg, to Dubrovnik and Lokrum. The fact remains that thanks to him, a cross was erected in memory of the fallen sailors and their names were engraved on it. Prompted by his impressions of the event, the Archduke purchased the island that he fell in love with at first sight.
We're headed to the fort. All these bird houses in this wall.
So cute.
This is where Richard the Lionheart hung out with his buddies. So we made it to the top of
The fort?
the fort.
Right.
Very, very pretty views. It would definitely be a very strategic place to make sure you can see all that's going on around you.
Everything, yeah.
You don't want to go in the creepy room?
You want to go in there?
Doesn't really look like there's a lot going on in there.
I don't think we need to test that.
Would you want to go to number 5 where it says rocks? We found ourselves in a botanical garden, which is one of the things to walk through here on Lokrum. And I think there's a monastery over here that we're gonna check out.
Oh.
These are really cool old ruins.
Lokrum has plenty of stories to tell. For one thing, everyone who ever owned this island throughout history had a tragic and mysterious death. There's also a tale about Benedictine monks who were forced off the island in 1798, but not before they circumnavigated the island 3 times, dripping candle wax and muttering curses against anyone who would later control Lokrum. There's plenty of other stories to tell, you should look them up. And of course, the island was used to film some scenes from Game of Thrones.
Gotta sit on your rightful throne. You can't give me a smile. You gotta give me something epic. Probably all kinds of people.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Kind of a bummer that we haven't seen the show before, but there's the throne.
I actually kind of like it better that we don't even know what it's about.
We have no
So all
idea
I
what
know
the
is,
show
like,
is about.
What I'm seeing.
But we've like been to all these places. Hey, Peacock. It's a very strange place. Just a peacock right there. This island is very weird. Richard the Lionheart got stranded here.
I feel like that's the least weird of everything. We just read a bunch of stuff
This was
about
a
all
quarantine
these, like,
island for
deaths.
the Black Plague. This place was sold, and apparently there's a curse
Like each
by
time it was sold,
Benedictine
the next
monks.
person like died mysteriously that owned it, and then this princess or something who lived here, and she like dropped her pearls in the ocean, and no one can retrieve them. Like the water foams up every time someone tries to get them, and what was the
Very
other? There were other ones too. It was
sketchy.
so weird.
And now there's
And
just a bunch of
just
random
wild peacocks.
peacocks right there. Come on, open up.
So weird.
How do you make them do their thing? You're on the helicopter landing zone, Shell. Tell us about this place.
We found the rocks. That's all I got.
This has been a thoroughly fun day so far. I've been enjoying myself immensely.
Yeah, would definitely recommend taking a little trip to Lokrum.
Except you might get cursed.
Yeah, I have to be careful with all the curses.
Yeah. It's part of the adventurous thing, right?
It reminded me of a book, I think it's by Agatha Christie. I remember reading it in high school, and it's about this man who invites all these like 10 guests to an island. And then it was something where he like kills each one off one by one, but you don't know it's him until the end of the book. But anyway, this island is giving me and then there were none vibes with with all the like cursed stories and the weird random quirks.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh. Peacock on the rocks. Now if that doesn't sound like a cocktail, I don't know what does. So apparently this, when it's really stormy, kind of pushes in a bunch of water into the little Dead Sea area, and then it becomes all turbulent. So there's like a fissure in the Dead Sea area that kind of makes it bubble up and stuff and push the water through, kind of like a bottleneck point. So don't get stuck in there. We're now on our way to Charlotte's Well, which Maximilian of Habsburg made for his wife. And there is some curse associated with it, just like everything on this island. So hopefully we don't come under that. It's a beautiful place, so I understand why people want to be here and never want to leave it. Want to curse it instead.
Want to die on this island.
Yeah. I'd be happy dying here.
Stop.
One of the only problems about our way to Charlotte's Well is that there's a bit of a maze.
This one doesn't say anything about Charlotte's Well, so maybe we're going.
Missed it. Well, the Gardens of Maximilian are that way, so we'll go that way. Well, it's dry. We may have gotten a little turned around on our search for Charlotte's Well.
Well, the paths are not very obvious.
No, and also this place is so old that you don't really know if you're in the right place. I think we found the Gardens of Maximilian. They're not very impressive anymore. Dilapidated gardens. Come on, man.
There are only a couple restaurants on the island, so we stopped at one of them for some lunch.
One of the interesting things on the menu is horse meat. So maybe we'll try that. But also, like, horses are just so beautiful. But also, like, cows are so beautiful and they taste great. I don't know, those woolly cows in Ireland. And also just in general, I think cows are pretty cool. They're so big and they have 7 stomachs. It's one of those, I don't know. Just like a cat's lives, you never really know. I mean, I think it's 9. Starting off our meal with a nice little beer. We made a grave mistake and didn't film any of our yummy burger. So you'll just have to imagine it. How would you describe the taste of the yummy burger?
A brioche bun with scamorza cheese, pulled pork, spicy aioli, and crispy julienne vegetables, which is just like thinly sliced, like bell peppers. That's kind of all I remember.
It's very tasty.
It was so good. Look at how long this spoon is. It's so cute.
Here on the Heisler channel, we don't make the same mistake twice. So that's why we're filming our dessert.
Looks like it has some kind of like cream dressing on top or something.
Our cheesecake was delicious. And now we're enjoying the nice gardens of Mr. Maximilian.
Boy.
And there's a bunch of peacocks too.
I forgot about the peacocks for a second.
Okay, those are epic fire trucks. Joey,
Joey would like that.
you should become a firefighter in Lokrum, right next to These guys. So one of the interesting things about this guy, Maximilian from Habsburg, is that he brought over a bunch of botanical specimens to populate this island, and then it grew into kind of this odd, I think so. Oh, okay. It grew into this odd kind of strange land of different species that aren't native to this area.
Go together.
And so now you get this really cool botanical garden and island that just has a bunch of random species that aren't native to this area on them.
And with that, we made our way back to the port and awaited our ferry back to Dubrovnik.
And thus concludes our epic adventure to the mysterious island.
Next week, we're checking out another town on the southern Croatian coast called Cavtat. Come along with us and explore this beautiful yet slightly quirky town. It'll be a lot of fun, so check back next Friday.